Good morning. Today I'm breaking down Bitcoin for beginners. Whether you're brand new or looking to sharpen your skills, you're in the right place, and let's dive in. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while on the YouTube, it's fitness and finance. So I'd say, well, with fitness, I would consider myself more of a guru because I'm 56 years old. I got into fitness when I was 14. And so that's 40 years of just passionate fitness business on my own personal fitness journey. I've won 25 plus, or I've entered 25 plus bodybuilding competitions, overall champion 5 times. I've trained people. I've been training people since 1994. I have over 45,000 hours of one-on-one training and teaching people. That's just teaching other people fitness. So I'd say I definitely feel like a guru, although I am still learning in the fitness realm. Now, when it comes to the finance, I've been on this Bitcoin journey myself since about 2017, 2018. I remember when I had a client, it was right around 2018. Bitcoin was under um, 10,000 at the time. It was like between 6 and 10,000. And he told me, and he was a very smart person, and he said, you should consider buying a Bitcoin. And because it's gonna, they really believed in it. Him and his partner really believed in it. And he had a partner that he trusted, and they were heavily into it. And this was in 2017. And then, so just based on that, sometimes I don't need to do a lot of research to take action. If I feel like I believe in my heart, I kind of felt like he knew what he was talking about. And I'm a spiritual person. I felt like God was saying, yeah, this is good. So that was when I started accumulating Bitcoin myself. And I've been accumulating it ever since. So whether the price was 10,000 then, or it's 95,000 now, or whether it's hundreds of thousands of dollars into the future, I feel like, based on my own experience, and right now we're in April 2025, I feel like over the next 5 to 10 years, it's very likely, and this is not financial advice, but it's very likely that Bitcoin will increase in value 30 to 60% every year over the next 5 to 10 years. So it's kind of like a just accumulation game. One of my mentors calls it a Bitcoin gold rush, because you're just buying, and the thing with Bitcoin too, you don't have to buy one whole Bitcoin. You see the price tag. I know a lot of people, $95,000. Oh my gosh, I can't, I wouldn't want to buy one either right now today, but maybe you have $1,000, or maybe you have $100. Even if you have $10, you can buy $10 worth. You can buy $100 worth. You can buy $1,000 worth. And that's what I've been doing. I've just been dollar cost averaging. I work my fitness business. I take my profits, from a percentage of my profits from my fitness business, and I'm just accumulating it into Bitcoin. So instead of saving it into a bank account, I am saving it. I have some savings, because this is finance in general. I do have savings that I'm saving into, like a high interest yield savings account, or even I have other investments that I like, but I put a percentage into Bitcoin. It's like I'm saving it. Every time I get paid, I take a percentage and I just buying more and more. When the price goes up to 200,000, I'm still going to be buying more. When it goes to 300,000, I'm still going to, that's my plan over the next at least 9 years, by 2034. Now, one of my mentors said that and you can do your own research and check this out, but by 2034, approximately 99% of all the Bitcoin will be mined. So the interesting thing about that, what I take away from that and what I share to you, is that there is a limited supply with Bitcoin. It's only going to be 21 million Bitcoins. There will never be any more. A lot of them are even missing. So there's a percentage that is unaccounted for, but the supply will never grow above 21 million. So there's only 21 million. So think about that. There's 21 million Bitcoin, and think about the population in the world. There's around 8 billion people in the world. And there's only 21 million Bitcoin. That's the thing I don't think a lot of people understand yet. So it's a limited supply. So as time goes on and more people, more governments get involved, more big businesses get involved, because a lot of these big businesses that have cash on the side, they're putting it into this because they really understand it. And the thing is I feel like most people don't understand it. And the reason why is because from a lot of the studies that I've done, it seems like you really have to put in some time to study Bitcoin and why it works. Why is everybody talking about it? I guess everybody's not talking about it, but why is you can feel this momentum building in this area? Why is this happening? And there's this whole world where there's different kind of money. We have what's called fiat money, which is government money. So fiat money, government money, that's like the US dollar. That's the money they use in Europe. That's the money they use in Australia. They have their own money in Japan and China. So, but what happens is, like, even in the USA, for example, they keep, like, when we had the pandemic a while back, they printed money, right? So they keep increasing the supply of money. And so what that does is it devalues the money. So one research I did recently said that, like, if you had $100 in 2020, which is about 5 years ago, today that same money, if you still had it, the same one is worth $80. So where the money is, and that's and from everything that I'm reading, and I do a lot of research, and you can do your own research, is that it's just inflation is just going to keep coming. I mean, it's even on a good rate, the Fed, who controls inflation in the USA, who tries to control it, they shoot for 2% a year inflation. That's what they're shooting for. It's been way off. I mean, they've been saying year over year, it's like around 7% increase in inflation. But it gets overlapped. So say we have 7% this year, and the got inflated, and then next year it's like another 7% on the whole thing. So it's just I feel like there's a huge inflation problem. So I encourage you to just do your own research, study, whether you read books or videos or YouTube, or you join the academy with me and follow the educators. And that's another whole thing, that's why I'm sharing this we're looking to work with people who are interested in learning, because we have a whole entire academy. But that's the thing, when you get around, we have 60 plus different educators. When you get around the educators, you learn a lot of this stuff. And that's what I feel like builds confidence. So I encourage you to, with that in mind, I encourage you to do your own research, study Bitcoin. Just go to YouTube and maybe search Bitcoin. Why is it so, what is Bitcoin? The basics of Bitcoin. Go to ChatGPT and look up, what is Bitcoin? Please elaborate it in simple terms, and just start to be on that journey of learning, because I'd say ideally you want to have at least 100 hours. If you're serious about this and you want to learn, I encourage you to at least start with 10 hours of study, whether you're just listening to audio, doing research, thumbing through ChatGPT or YouTube or whatever, and at least start with 10 and then work up to 100 hours of study. And what will happen after that 100 hours of study, I feel like you will start to have an understanding of the technology of Bitcoin. So that's the whole thing. It's not just like an irregular investment. It is really an entire technology. I don't know if you're old enough or can remember, but back in the 90s, when the internet was coming on board, not everybody really understood the internet. I remember in 1999, that's when I first got on the internet. I was like, how do you get around on the internet? It was so weird and so kind of foreign thinking. And so, but the internet was, I can't remember exactly when it started, but say like in the 80s, nobody was on the internet. But there's some people were. There was layers of internet, but not, you had to learn how to, type certain codes to be able to get around and use it. But then at a certain point, the HTTP layer got layered on top of that internet. And that's when things took off. People get on the internet. We could build websites on the internet, all this kind of stuff. Bitcoin is sort of like it's a new technology, sort of, and things are going to be built on top of Bitcoin. So, and you'll just see, but I encourage you to do your own research, because it is not just kind of like a regular investment. I feel like it's certainly like in the technology, right? So what do I do and how do I make the most of my investments with Bitcoin? I think of it kind of, for me, in three different ways. I have a long-term approach. So I have basically, this is not financial advice, but I have a personal Roth and a business Roth, ROTH, where I take my savings money and I put it into my Roth. Now, the reason why I put it into the Roth is because I'm paying taxes on it now. So it's after tax income. And then I'm saving it into Bitcoin, but underneath a Roth umbrella. What happens later, ideally, say 10 years from now, I'll be qualified to withdraw it. I'll be qualified to withdraw it in 5 years because of the age factor. But just say you leave it in there, and whenever we decide to draw out of the Roth, the beauty part of the Roth, ROTH, and for you to consider, do your own research, is that at that point, there's no taxes. So when you say we put in, save 100,000, just say, into Bitcoin today, and say in 10 years from now or whatever, say it's 1 million, just playing an example. The 100,000 that you put in was after tax income. So you've already paid the taxes on it and you've saved it into Bitcoin. Now, say 10 years from now, you pull it out, it's 1 million. Say you pulled out all 1 million. Well, that will be no tax on that income. I hope you kind of grasp the concept of that. So when you pull money out of a Roth account, you don't pay taxes on it because it's already been funded with after-tax income. So Roth, that's another thing I'm looking at. So I'm just I'm saving into my Roths, and I'm paying taxes on it now, but when I pull it out later, there'll be no taxes on that income. Now, in the short term, we can swing trade or we can scalp trade. What is swing trade and scalp trade? So swing trade is sort of like, to me, it could be like a 1 week trade. It could last a week. It could last like 5 days to a week, or it could last 8 weeks. Sometimes you can just, you're swinging the trade, right? So say, for example, let's look at this right here on the chart. This is Bitcoin, and each candle is a daily candle, okay? So a green candle, that's 1 day. The red candle, that's 1 day. Each one of these is 1 day. So what do we have here? 3, this is 1 week, right? So this is a perfect example of a nice swing trade. And I did take advantage of this one. Don't always catch all of them, but say you enter the trade here, right? And you hold it and you take profits here. That's the thing. So you put in, let's just say $100, and we'll just, for easy math, let's just say, let's work with what we got. Say you bought a whole Bitcoin right here, 85,000. Just say you bought in at 85,000 a week ago, and you bought 1 Bitcoin, just making the numbers easy. But then you sold it a week later at $95,000. That's a swing trade. That's a beautiful swing trade. So now you put in 85,000, you take out, you sell it at 95,000. So now you have a $10,000 profit. then you can do whatever you want with that. You can roll it into something else, but that's the idea. That's the clean version of it. You enter, like this is to me, this is a perfect example of what a swing trade looks like. Enter here, sell there. It's a week later. If that makes sense, let me know. So if you understand swing trade based on that, put a 1 in the chat, please. Let's see. Checking my chat. Sorry. Okay. All right. Pause. Pardon me for a moment. Okay. Just checking. Pardon me for a moment. Good. Okay. I was making sure the volume was okay. So that swing trade, like maybe that was a perfect example of a swing trade. Buy here, 85,000, sell here, 95,000. That's a $10,000 profit. You swung trade, great. Okay. Now let's look at scalp trade. All right. A scalp trade is more of like a day. Okay. So look at this. This is a beautiful example of a scalp trade. Now this is Bitcoin on the daily time frame. Each candle is 1 day, right? Now, this is Bitcoin, and each candle was 15 minutes, right? So we don't even have a day here yet. So let's see, this is right here, we're at, I don't know if I get like the clocks off. Okay. So say, for example, we're here, 15:30. Okay. So this is 1 day. All this right here is about 1 day, if I'm looking at it right. Okay. Now, a scalp trade is this. You basically buy here, 93,000, sell there, 95,000. Just using round numbers, this is a good example of a scalp trade. And it's simple, but I wouldn't say it's easy. It is, like a lot of things are simple, like fitness, I feel is simple. We know to exercise and eat right, but it's not easy for people to do. That's why a lot of people fail at it. But this is a good example of a scalp trade or a day trade. So you bought here, so you bought in at 93,000, and then a few hours later, you sell it at 95,000, you make a $2,000 profit in less than a day. A scalp trade can be minutes to hours to a day. It can turn into a swing trade. Sometimes you can enter a trade here, take what's called take profits. You can sell a third of your position, and then you could let the 1/3 of the position see if it keeps going up. It's an option. But that's the day trade or scalp trade situation. So I just want to share that with you. Now let's start. This is Bitcoin back on the daily time frame. Let's what I like to do normally when I'm going over Bitcoin is I like to start out zoomed out and then zoom in, right? So this is on the daily time frame. Let's pull it back to the 4-hour time frame. Now look at this. Now this is the beautiful thing about Levels. Levels is an AI driven app that helps us track Bitcoin or a lot of the assets. It's got here, all our pairs are over here. We have a lot of pairs you can choose from. All kind of pairs you can pull up on the chart. But look at what's beautiful about this is I'm in a scalp / swing trade, and I've taken some profits. Excuse me. But this, sometimes you can take profits, and then if it keeps going in the direction that you're going, you can rebuy back in and keep riding up the wave, right? So this is this level. See this bulls button? So it tells us where the level is. Look at this. This is a strong level right here, this blue level. So I placed some orders down here, but that's just the idea, and it's not financial advice. It's just this gives you an idea. Say, hey, this is a good place to put some orders because it shows us this is where the level is. It's very simple. So if you believe that was a good level, say it's 93,785, boom, put your order. Sometimes if I'm confident, really confident in the position, I might put an order here at the top of the zone, one in the middle, and one at the end. Just very simple. Sometimes one gets hit, sometimes two gets hit, sometimes all three gets hit. Sometimes it violates, that's the word I'm looking for. Sometimes it violates the zone altogether and you get stopped out. So anything can happen. But that's on the 4-hour time frames. That's a strong level right there, 4-hour time frame. Let's keep zooming in. All right, we don't have anything to show there. But now this is interesting. So on the 1-hour time frame, we can see our zone here, say 93. This is a whole zone from 92,867 to 93,564. That's a good zone. Now, if we want to get into the scalps, let's get into the lower time frames. You can see right now in a 30-minute time frame, we're right in the middle. It could be a good option for reversal, or we could also violate the zone and lose it altogether. But either one of these zones, if you're going to be more conservative, you could set a buy order here. Not financial advice, but 94,100. If you were here, you could. Some people might enter here and do well, but just good to have these indicators to help us pick out the zones and the levels, right? So 15-minute time frame, we are definitely showing a good level of support right where we're at between the 15-minute, the 1 hour, no, it's a 30-minute. So the 30-minute is showing good supports, the 15-minute showing good supports, the 5 minutes. Now the 5 minutes is kind of interesting because now we're starting to pick up, because we have been going up the last few days, but on the lower time frames, we can pick up some potential rejection areas to watch out for. So we pull the bears tab somewhere between 95,100 and 95,300 is a potential rejection on the small time frame. We'll see. That's small time frame. I mean, it can be like rough waters, kind of like being out in the ocean, because Bitcoin can move $10,000 in minutes. So you just study, learn. That's the idea. Just get educated. So let's see here. All right, now let's go over. So we've looked at it close up. I'm going to pull it back out. I want to go one more time before I leave. Well, I'm going to come back to that. There's a big. I have a long-term chart I want to share with you. But okay, so let's pull up this and see if I have anything we can share. Okay, yes, look at this. I was working on this chart yesterday. So this is also, this red line here is a line of support that I drew up yesterday. Look at look at this. Okay, let's go back. So right here we've touched here. See how? Can you see it? So we touched here, and now we're about to touch there. See? So resistance. It was coming up, boom, hit resistance. Went down. Came up, boom, hit resistance. Came down, boom, we broke through resistance, right? All the way up. And then it went down for a little while, went down. Now we went back up, see, we broke right here. Let's look at this. This is interesting. We're kind of playing around in this area right here. See how it was kind of having a hard time breaking through the red line, but it did break through. And then it broke back down. It's really testing this level a lot right here. See this? A lot of tests. And now we're testing it again. So look here. So Yeah, so we're testing it real good right there. So I feel like could be a good place for a bounce, but they recommend setting up stop losses in case we break through, because we absolutely could break through. But that's a good example of what a good support is like. So we're actually at a pretty good level of support on the like 30 minutes and under time frame, I feel. So, okay, so that's on the 15-minute time frame right here. Now let's come back here. I want to pull up one more chart, and then I'm going to wrap it up. BTC on the position. Okay, is that right? Okay, let's open this back up. Okay, so this is Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. Okay, so this is Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. This is where we're at. Each candle you see on the chart is 1 week. We have a strong level of support down here, and Bitcoin can go anywhere. That's why I feel like it helps to just be aware of all the levels. So the threat level here is down here, and it hasn't wiped out. I wouldn't be surprised if it did it some kind of way. This thing can really, Bitcoin can draw out and do things and bore you sometimes. We could go weeks in this range, and then it might swipe down and come to pick up these lows. Let me show you some of my speculations. So the white lines are my potential speculations. So look, for example, here. So these are my 2025, 2026 bull case speculations. So you can see we could bounce any which way, but one way or another, I see it's going to 109,000 to about 119,000. Not financial advice, it's just my speculation. That's going to be some resistance, but my hope is that eventually we'll get that as support, and then once things move along further, I'd say like a year and a half, or up to a year and a half, up to before the USA's midterm elections. I feel like the economy, if it's going to be strong in the short term, it's going to be strong by then. But so we could get a range of Bitcoin between, I'd say from my research, 150,000 to about 188,000. Just speculation. It's just fun to speculate and guess. But see, I'm buying for the long term, because I feel like eventually it will go up over 1 million and beyond. But in the short term, I'm swing trading and scalp trading, making the most of it. So let's see here. Well, I just want to say thank you for tuning in today. I hope this has made Bitcoin a little less confusing and a lot more exciting for you. If you want to go deeper and learn alongside of me, using the same tools and education I'm using, just message me the word LEARN, LEARN, and I'll get you all the info. My number's inside the description of the video. It's 520-400-9573. Message me the word LEARN to 520-400-9573, and I'll get you all the info. Be blessed. Remember that health is wealth, cash flow is king, cash is queen, and credit is freedom. You think about that. Health is wealth, cash flow is king, cash is queen, and credit is freedom. And I'm grateful to be here to share this with you. I'll be bringing more market updates, so be on the lookout. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be blessed, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.